what is up, guys? So today we are actually going to be introduced to a character in Wonderlands named Izzy. So in Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, it's a mashup of a Borderlands unique shooter, looter setting and the world of a fantasy as filtered through the mind of a 13-year-old explosive expert, taking meta to the next level. So we return to Bunkers and Badassery of Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon Keep for an entirely new adventure through the cracked lens of fantasy as it exists in Tiny Tina's mind. With the world of Borderlands existing under a fantasy veneer, we're introduced to characters we've never seen before, both real and imagined, including one of the most important NPCs in Wonderlands, Izzy, owner and tavern keeper of Izzy's Fizzies, the strictly non-alcoholic soda bar. Izzy has a warm and inviting personality, punctuated by her soft, quasi-Minnesotan accent. It's meant to evoke friendliness, but also serves as an in-game gag. According to senior writer Sam Winkler, Tina is just running out of accents for the non-playable characters in her Bunkers and Badass campaign. The Gearbox team is tasked with an interesting approach to creating the world of Wonderlands, as everything you see and do within the game conforms to the rules and personality of Tiny Tina. In other words, everything you see is the creation of a team of people tasked with creating a world as it would be created inside the mind of an established and extremely well-known character. Because of these rules governing the rules, the tavern setting was chosen specifically because it is a tabletop role-playing game trope. Anyone who's played Dungeons & Dragons knows all too well how many adventures begin in the noisy, smoky confines of a tavern at a crossroads. Adventures often end there, as the fantasy tavern is often where adventurers return to divvy up the spoils of their conquest. Izzy's Fizzies is just such a location, conforming to the rules of Tiny Tina's own imagination as well as providing a familiar central location for returning Borderlands players. So, Izzy is going to be a part of Izzy's Fizzies tavern. But we did see taverns like this in Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon Keep, where Moxie was actually the head person in the tavern. So it's basically Sanctuary, Winkler said, referencing the central hubs of Borderlands 2 and 3, similar to your room on board Borderlands 3 Sanctuary 3. Things inside the chamber grow and change as you progress through Tiny Tina's campaign. Perhaps the most noticeable of these changes come in the form of those recited by a poet, who apparently has some sort of residency program in place with Izzy. As you find hidden poems within the campaign, the poet recites them upon your return to the tavern, growing his repertoire with each newly acquired page of prose. While I didn't get a chance to hear any of these, the poetry, it's Borderlands, so it's a pretty safe bet it will be ridiculous or over the top, or even more likely a combination of the two. So in addition to soothing sonnets, Izzy Fizzies takes care of other in-game activities like quick change stations, as well as offering quests for you to undertake. There are 3 levels of quests in Tiny Tina's Wonderlands: plot quest, major quest, and side quest. The plot quests are pretty obvious, they advance the plot. Major quests are substantial but exist outside the plot line, and side quests are side quests like we always have in Borderlands games, triggered when you find wanted posters within the world of Wonderlands. In addition to the quest, there's an ancient obelisk in the tavern, because why not? This is Gearbox's creative team filtering its ideas through the brain of a fictional 13-year-old chaotic ballistics expert. So within that framework, an ancient obelisk inside a strictly non-alcoholic tavern is par for the course. The obelisk unlocks challenges for you to undertake strictly outside the quest structure. So that kind of sounds like challenges that we can it's kind of sounded like a badass rank, because it's challenges that you can do outside of like quests. So maybe we would see like some sort of badass rank come back. It just might not be called that. And Winkler said one of the objectives the creative team put forth when designing Tiny Tina's Wonderlands was to give players a sense of ownership of the adventure a feeling of expression and a connection, much as you might feel while playing a real tabletop campaign. This guiding principle manifests in Izzy Tavern. As you progress the game, the tavern changes. For example, when you best a fearsome beastie, you might find its head mounted on the wall. There are also banners to create and customize. Each player's version of Izzy's Fizzies will be different. So when you party up with some friends, you can bring them into your tavern and flex on them. Wrinkler said by the end of Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, the tavern will be totally different from the start. So beyond the customizations, the tavern changes at all during the course of the game, and got a very intriguing non-answer from Wrinkler. So, as well as laughter from senior producer Kayla Belmore and creative director Matt Cox. No, he said with a smile, but there are changes to other parts of the game. What those changes are remains to be seen, but I'm sure the broader Borderlands community will have them all tracked and recorded within the first day after Tiny Tina's Wonderlands release on March 25th. So I'm really excited. This is really cool that they kind of announced a new character, or one of the NPCs that is actually really important to the game, because this is going to be someone that you go to all of the time, because it's a quest giver. It's basically your home hub that you go to. So it's really cool that we got introduced to, I guess, one of the main NPCs a part of Wonderlands. So if you guys like this video, remember to leave this video a huge like, subscribe if you haven't already, and also go ahead and follow me on Instagram at VoidGearVanitas. And yeah, guys, thanks for watching, and I will catch you all in the next one. Bye.
Fire will rise behind those eyes. Black house will rock. Lost boy.